Hi everyone, welcome back to the Zicast. I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by Aspiring Music Supervisor Hallie Nissenbaum.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, so great to have you here, Hallie, and I'd like to shout out Presley Schmitt for technical directing. I keep forgetting to do it at the beginning of the episode, so I'm happy I remembered this
Thank you for helping us out.
So yeah, Hallie, great to have you here today. I'm excited to learn more about your journey in film and music. So how about you kick things off by telling us a bit about yourself?
All right, well, I'm a grad student at Quinnipiac. I just graduated last year with my bachelor's, so I'm a 3+1 from Long Island. Yeah, and I really, my dream as of recent, I would love to be a music supervisor. That's something that I've been like, I wasn't sure like it was a thing. I was always been into music, but I talked to a few professors and they were like, well, this is an option. And I was like, awesome, like I'm super into that. So yeah, I'm kind of just like learning more about it, but that is definitely the dream. So
yeah, and just to explain 3+1 for those who might know.
Quinnipiac provides a program that is 3+1, so it's 3 years of undergrad, and then it's 1 year of being a master's student. So I graduated with my undergrad with, my major was film, my minor was media studies, and now I'm getting my master's in producing for film and television.
Where did your journey in film and music start, and what kind of experiences have you had in it?
Yeah, so I always very been into music, always been very big into movies. I really want to say like my movie love started super young. My parents would get annoyed with me because I would watch Cars 4 times a day. Same with High School Musical and stuff like that. And then as I like was growing up, I got into middle school. I was allowed to wear AirPods, so I started listening to music. And my music taste is super all over the place. I love absolutely everything. Like most people will be like, I love everything except country, but like I'm just like, I love everything. I'll listen to anything and everything. And I love also, one of the things that I love about movies is the music in it and how it can just guide the story, how it can change the room, like the tone, how it can change the mood of everything. So I just find that really interesting.
Is there an example of a movie where you think the music really...
Okay, yes. My favorite movie is Tag, 2018. I want to say the director is Jeff Tomzik. I watched that during COVID, and that movie like changed my life. The music in it, the vibe, the characters, the actors itself. I'm a big New Girl fan also, so Jake Johnson, who plays Nick Miller, is in it. Big fan of him. Ed Helms is in it. Love The Office. I'm a very big sitcom fan. But yeah, that was really good. The music is great. The story is great. It's also it's just interesting. I also just love how like music, whether it's a soundtrack or a score or whatever it is, it genuinely changes the whole entire vibe of the film.
Was there like a specific moment when you realized that music wasn't just something you enjoy, but something that you could build a career around and bring it into movies?
Yeah, so I actually wrote my college essay about music, and that's what got me here. And I met a few friends that like do music and business here and stuff like that, and I didn't really know that was an option at first, but I've always been into film first and then music. So talking to professors as the years gone on, like being like, this is my interest, like I'm very like, this is my niche and this is what I really like. So it kind of helped guide me into like being like, these are the options that you can do, these are the options that you have. But yeah, no, I've always loved music. I'm like big fan of it. It's just like it makes me who I am as a person.
So let's take that and dive into the music supervisor role.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that, like what the day-to-day looks like?
Yeah, so I'm still not like 100% sure because I'm still learning about it.
Yeah.
But basically it's not, a lot of people think it's like creating a playlist for a movie, but it's not. It's a lot more to it. There's a lot of the business side, the budgeting side. It's kind of like laying out the slate a little bit for like the songs that you want. And like, it's like, you can put like the songs up here, like the songs that you really want. And then there's songs that you have to have as backups, just in case it doesn't work in the budget or anything like that. But basically, from what my understanding is as a music supervisor is choosing the music, but also making sure it fits within the budget range.
On that note, even with like licensing music, 'cause I know sometimes scripts are written with music in mind. How does that all work?
Yeah, so licensing is also a very, very big part of music supervision. That is something that like is key. So it's either you do licensing through like the mainstream like studios, you do licensing through indie artists or whatever, but it's definitely like a huge process. It also has to start very, very early on within the process. So like if you know you want a song, like for my capstone, this is not the best example, but for my capstone, we had a Sam Cooke song at the end that we were like, we would love to include this, but we know it's super expensive.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to include that for our film, we have had to go like way in advance, like asked if we can use it, set aside money for it, and like go through the whole licensing process, which is a very long process.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's like little bits and pieces, but then licensing is like huge. So
I know sometimes, like with filmmakers, you could put a film on your end credits that you could put on YouTube, but you can't when you send it to a festival, so on and so forth. Like you mentioned your capstone. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in a group with 6 people, including myself. I was the assistant director in it, but it was also a documentary. So there's not much that you can assistant direct with a documentary.
Yeah.
It's just more of like, we were interviewing children in a boxing range. So let me backtrack a little bit. So my capstone is about this man who was raised in New Haven. He got kicked out of his house at 13, went to jail for possession, got out of jail, went back to jail, got out of jail again, and was like, this isn't the life that I want. So he started boxing, and he became very good at it, got very professional with it, won a few Golden Gloves, which is awesome. Like, that's like the best that you can do in boxing. And then with some time, he retired, opened his own gym, and then started teaching kids in New Haven boxing and try to get them off the streets and also just teach them how to protect themselves, which is really nice. Yeah, but it was awesome telling his story. He's a very nice guy. I love the camaraderie that he has, and also just the relationships with the students I found super important because like I grew up playing softball and dance, and like the relationships I've had with like my coaches and my teachers in that way is super important. It like really helps guide you. So I think like the person that he is, the story that we got to tell, it was awesome.
I just think with documentaries among student films, it very much stands out because documentaries, you don't need as many
I know exactly what we're gonna say.
artful like lights.
Yes.
It's just very in the moment raw, and I think it lends itself better to making a student film.
Yeah.
Can you take us into how that differs from your other filmmaking experiences?
Yeah. So I actually just PA'd on my first narrative film. I've never worked on a narrative film before, and it was a completely different process than what I've been through. So with my capstone, it wasn't necessary to have absolutely everyone there because it's one of those things where you're entering someone's space and you don't want to be overbearing, you don't want to be too much, and you also don't want to like overwhelm them. So we were very pick and choose about who's going, about how long we're going to be there, about scheduling, which obviously scheduling in any type of film is very important. But for my capstone, it was a lot easier with scheduling. We also didn't really have to worry about paying a location and actors, which is completely different because I got to see that side of being a PA on my friend Jesse Taig's film, which is coming out soon. But yeah, it was completely different process. I got to see like the actual AD work side of it because there wasn't much for me to do. It's not like I can create like a call sheet and like have like, this is what's going on all day because things are just kind of subject to change with the documentary. It's kind of like whatever he's willing to talk about, whatever the students are willing to talk about, we'll just make it work. Whereas a narrative, it's completely planned out like days before and you kind of have to have everything figured out, props, all of that. So yeah, completely different process.
Yeah. Like Presley and I worked on the documentary for a local football team, and we kind of figured that out too in the ways that it's like things just happen and you react to them. Where filmmaking, everything is structured.
Was that with Will Mellix?
Yeah, Wetsuit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Which I absolutely love, and I was able to handle interviews for them and things like that.
Yeah, I recently, like, I always knew of Alex Kendall, but I recently met her through PAing on Jesse's film, and she was telling me all about it and giving me a little bit of insight on the graduate thesis vibe, because that's my next move.
Yeah, and that was an absolute blast, and I'm curious kind of like from your takeaways from all of that, do you see film any differently now following that experience?
Absolutely. It's completely different. The whole process is different. Like, it's something about actually being on set and like getting to see everything. Like, hiding when the cameras are showing, like being like having to tell everyone to be quiet. Like it's completely like, it's just like it's a very like pick and choose process, but at the same time, like it's very important how everything is laid out, because you can't make it work without everything being like sorted out and figured out. So I really enjoyed working on the narrative. It was really cool. I think going forward, if I had the opportunity, well, actually, I'm kind of lying. I'm working on a narrative right now, actually, for my thesis. I'm working with a few people, which will be my first narrative, which is really cool. But yeah, no, like, I really, really appreciate the way filming is. I appreciate everyone's jobs, because everyone's jobs are so different, but they also, you can't do it without one another. Like it all correlates and it all just works together. And it's really cool how that process works.
Yeah. Something I always say on here, film is like the ultimate team sport.
Yes.
It's all about the collaboration, all about the entirety of the group. And I'm curious, just from your capstone too, was there any moments from shooting that stands out? Because I haven't interviewed anybody from that group, so I'm curious to kind of learn more about it.
My favorite day was filming with this. There was a bunch of boys in the group, and then there was one girl who was also in the group. And my favorite day, which I'll never forget, her and I were sitting and talking. I was making sure she was comfortable, getting ready to film. I was our documentary was interview based, so kind of like this. So I sat with her and I just like made sure she was comfortable, because there was like things that were kind of private that a 16-year-old, she was 16, that a 16-year-old like might not be willing to share. Also at the same time, you have to go through the parents and make sure that's okay. So we were just talking, and we were getting to know each other. And she was telling me a little bit of her life story and everything. And it was just so inspiring, just like being in a room with a 16-year-old who's been through so much, but also is just willing to like be so confident in herself, fight, protect herself. Like, she's just amazing. She really is. I'm like, was beyond lucky to meet her and get to know her.
And that's really what I really reflect on and recall from that film, is this very ultimate underdog story, not just of the coach, I forget his name, but Solomon. Yes. But it's really the whole group and the ways that they're all overcoming things. And what was the title of it again?
Solo.
Yeah,
because his name is Solomon May, but we were like, our tagline was kind of like, if you have to go through things, it's like something about like, if you have to go through things in life, like you don't even have to go through it solo. Yeah. Something like that. So we really played on his name. Kind of changed the way you announce his name or pronounce his name, but yeah.
And that's another cool thing about documentaries too, is that it changes as it goes along. Not where like narrative feature, like we talk about, it's really gonna stay. It all happens in the pre-production and the script. Where it's everything, like your whole idea of the story can change.
I can actually tell you about a perfect moment about that.
Yes,
so our whole entire film was leading up to going to this boxing match. It was in Boston. We were like, okay, Capstone comes out on May 2nd. If we go to this shoot, like we can make it, or if we go to this match, we can make it work. We'll get it in. We'll have enough time to edit. Last minute, they're like, oh, so the boxing match isn't until June. Oh. And we were like, oh boy. Yeah. Because we had to kind of all sit down and be like, okay, so how do we fix where we're at? Because also with I don't know if it's the same with narrative editing. I think it's not. Yeah. But with documentary editing, we've been editing as we go. So as we film, there's always a new edit. There's always something going on. Yeah. So the way that they had it paced, the way that they had it organized was set for a boxing match. Yeah. And then we had to switch it around. And there was one moment that I wasn't there for filming, but I think it really was very important to the story, where Solomon saw his old acquaintances, his old friends, and like they all saw each other in the streets, and they were like hugging each other, catching up. And he was just like, and one guy was like, don't change a thing about you, Solomon, don't change a thing. Yeah. And that actually was in the film. Yeah. And it was just really, it was cool to see how like things could go wrong, but everything happens for a reason, and there's always a way to fix it. Yeah. But that was definitely stressful 2 weeks of figuring out, oh God, what do we do next?
It's a great lesson for as you continue in your career and in your life, is that sometimes there's things you just can't control.
Yeah, gotta pivot.
But you can control how you react to them, your attitude, and the way that your group goes about it, and be able to make a film that's very compelling. Yes. And to kind of take you back to what you want to do as a music supervisor, I'm very curious kind of what aspects of it you enjoy. Do you enjoy like editing music, or is it just the selection of it all?
So I tried to get into editing, but I've found that I don't have a lot of patience, which is something that I might have to work on. But editing is very interesting. I find it really cool. I just think there's so much to remember, so much to know that I kind of get lost in a little bit. So I'm more into like picking and choosing the music and just like listening to different songs and like being like, I can imagine this in a film or I can imagine this in a show or like I'll like watch something and be like, oh, this song is the reason this scene is great or like this moment is amazing. So I think music, like I think I said it before, but music really guides the story. Like it's all about, it's kind of just all about like making it work. I don't know like the word for it, but yeah.
It's also interesting because sometimes music really works in the film in a way that people might not recognize like consciously, but it like enhances the scene. How do you think that plays into all of it? Like sometimes I know it's like they say like a good score is something that you don't recognize.
Honestly, I think a score is even more important than a soundtrack. I can't say I have much of a background in like the instrumental like process or anything like that, but I've seen it. I've seen how hard it is. I've heard about it. We're actually working with a composer to do some of the music for my capstone right now, and I was just kind of like learning, asking him questions because like it's a collaborative process. It always is with film. So I was just kind of learning and asking him questions, and he was like, "Well, it's a very big process, and there's a lot that you have to do, and there's instruments that you have to get, and people you have to bring in, and I feel like." With a score, it's a lot more collaborative than it is with the soundtrack. Like a soundtrack, obviously it makes a film, but a score is like a huge process that like you go through like plenty of checks and you want to make sure it's good and try different things to make sure like it fits with what you're making. And I think that whole process is really interesting.
Yeah. Ironically, I say sometimes the score should disappear. A lot of times when I see a movie, the score is what like sticks in my head.
Yes.
And I'll be thinking about it. Like I see the Batman, I just think of the dun, 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 dun after I see the movie. And I'm curious, like, if you have a dream, like, song to put in the film for a certain sequence. You could take your time to think about this because I'm springing it on you, but I'm curious.
That is a tough one. Champagne Supernova by Oasis.
Oh.
Great song.
Yeah.
Very great song. I love that song. I think that would be really cool as like a, like maybe like a post-credit song or like a cut to credits type of song because it's just like a, I feel like that would really work for a coming-of-age type of film or show or anything like that. But that song is really good. It's powerful. It's important. I like the lyrics. I like the vibe of the song. So that'd be really cool.
So be on the lookout for that in the Hallie Nissenbaum movie.
Hopefully.
in the future.
Yeah.
And something else I'd like to ask you about, you mentioned the 3+1 program, and thank you for explaining that for us. How do you feel like your experience is different through that than like what someone would typically get out of a college experience?
So two of my best friends, one goes to Delaware, one goes to Buffalo. They their process is, their whole entire career in school has been completely different than mine. I've taken 19 credits per semester. I don't have to do that now because I'm a master's student, but 19 credits per semester, which is 7 classes. And it's like a lot heavier on the workload, but at the same time, like there's electives that you can take in undergrad that, and I took like a few like workout classes. Like I love yoga, so like I did that and that was really fun. But it's a lot faster pace, I feel like, than like the normal schooling, because my friend is going to be a teacher, which is very different than film. But she just started doing student teaching, whereas like I've kind of been pushed into film since the second I've gotten here.
Interesting. So, and even having 2 graduations too, which I know isn't the craziest thing in the world, but typically people just get 1. I know at the time of this recording it hasn't happened yet. What are the emotions of that?
Oh, it's crazy. It's exciting, but it's nerve-wracking. It's like an uncomfortable feeling, but it's also like this is in the cards. Like I've done my time here. It's been 4 years. I've been blessed to meet the people that I've met. I've been blessed to get 2 degrees in 4 years, which you don't really see a lot.
Exactly.
I also got my first degree at 20. Like I was a lot of the time you'll like hear people graduating college at 22 and stuff like that. I got my first degree at 20. I'm getting my second degree at 21.
Wow.
Like, it's something. It's really something.
It's a flex.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was actually talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was like, yeah, like, I graduated at 20. Like, that's so strange. And she was like, well, that's a bigger advantage than I had. Like, I graduated at 22. And like, it's just really interesting, like, how that Quinnipiac provides that, and it's just so different. And I honestly don't think I don't regret it. I don't think I would have gone anywhere else either. I really, like, I came to Quinnipiac because of the 3+1 program, quite honestly. Like, I really was intrigued by it. Getting 4 degrees getting 2 degrees in 4 years, insane. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I know it was such an allure of the program. And I've had so many 3+1 students on here, and I realized I never actually asked them about the emotions of that. So thank you for taking us through that, and to continue to learn more about you. How about I ask you some fun, get to know you questions, and tell us some things people might not know about you, like fun facts.
I love the beach. I'm a really big beach fan. The dream is to live by the water one day. Like that, I would love that. Being from Long Island though, like, I don't really necessarily want to live like on Long Island water. But I don't want to go south either. But I've kind of always dreamed about living in the city, living in Brooklyn. Me and my 3 best friends just living life in Brooklyn. That would be really cool. I'm also super close to Brooklyn, so I feel like I wouldn't be like too homesick or anything like that. I danced my whole entire life until I got to college. I completely stopped all sports and everything when I got here because I was more focused on getting used to being here, making new friends, just the whole like, oh my God, I'm at college. This is crazy. Let me get used to being here. But I danced all my life, and I really enjoyed it, which I also think that's where my love for music does come from as well, because you can't dance without music. I mean, you could, but it would be a little awkward. But I grew up dancing jazz, contemporary, ballet, lyrical, hip-hop. So, like, also even then, like, there's so many different types of music that you listen to with that, and it's just the different vibes, the different choreography, all of that I think is really interesting. And I really loved it. I miss it a lot.
I should have made that correlation, that like dance music and kind of finding that rhythm. Do you think having that experience in dance helps you find a rhythm with music?
I also feel like dance is a very collaborative thing too, and so is film. So I feel like dance, the people I grew up around, the teachers that I had, dance in general, like, it really helped guide me. And then I would talk to my teachers sometimes and like talk about music, not even like about dance or anything like on topic. It would just be about music, and we would like show each other different songs. And like my parents made me, like, I grew up listening to like Beatles and like, I can't even think, but like the Beatles, the Eagles, like, all this stuff. But then I get to dance, and I'm learning about like 90s hip hop and stuff like that. And it's just like a completely different vibe than what I grew up on. And I just found it really interesting.
And also kind of like dance, making people look good, film, all the departments make each other look good. So it kind of, that kind of correlation. And of course, being on a team. So you love music, you love dance. What's one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike?
Well, I'm from New York. So I strongly dislike slow walkers. That is like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, I can handle a slow driver, but a slow walker, it stresses me out a little bit. I absolutely love dogs though. I have 2 dogs. Their names are Daisy and Murray. They're the absolute loves of my life. I love them with everything in me. And also, anytime I see a dog, I have to stop like what I'm doing and I have to like pet the dog and get to know the dog and their name and everything. But I'm like a really big animal fan. Besides that, dogs are my favorite. I've seen so many deer around here also, which like is not a thing that I see at home at all. And they're beautiful. Deers are beautiful. But that's pretty much one thing I like, one thing I don't.
Awesome. You kind of took us into some of your goals, like living on the water, things like that. But what are some of your hopes and dreams personally or professionally?
Okay, so obviously music supervision would be awesome. I'm not necessarily a filmmaker that wants to be in LA though. One of my cousins, she actually just got an Emmy for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Wow. She did hair and makeup.
What's her name?
Monique Hyman.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you can look up her IMDb. She has a good amount of stuff there. But so she got an Emmy for that, and she lives in Atlanta. And I met like her ex, who I think he was either he was an AD or no, I think he was an AD. For the third Guardians of the Galaxy film.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I got to know like a lot about the inner workings of that process, and I didn't mention this before, but I'm a really big Marvel fan also. Okay. So like seeing that was really interesting. Also, I went there before I came to college, so that kind of like helped guide it a little bit on like I know that she does that and she loves it and she's interested in it. Obviously, hair and makeup is very different than music supervision, but at the same time, like the fact that she's in there and then she's in the industry and she has like an idea of it. Like I'll talk to her all the time about advice and everything because at first she lived in Hollywood and she did things in Hollywood. Didn't really love it there. So she moved to Atlanta and started working on indie films and then got into Marvel, which is so incredibly cool. So she's also a really big part on why film like kind of just followed me a little bit.
What kind of pieces of advice has she given you?
It's just more of like a be yourself, trust your instincts, trust your gut. Like, no, like in the industry, there's going to be times where people are going to be hard on you, but know who you are as a person. Like, know, like, because I'm very big on like just morals and respect. And sometimes people won't respect you, but that doesn't mean that they don't respect you. That just means that they're a little bit higher up and they treat you differently, which is fine. But at the same time, you have to know who you are. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to respect yourself even if others don't. And that's just kind of what helps get you through it.
And be able to be kind of withstand all the things the industry will throw you, like she did, like moving from LA to Atlanta, which is a big pivot.
And she definitely had a long experience. It started like short films, which is basically what I've been experiencing as well. It started on short films and then it went to like indie like thrasher. Is thrasher a word? Indie slasher. Indie slasher type of things. And then she started working her first like quote unquote big film, but film that I was like, oh my God, was Expelled. It's a MTV film, I want to say. Cameron Dallas was in it. I was a very big fan of him at the time. So that kind of like started her off as being like, I want to work bigger up. And obviously in this industry, you start small and you build up. But her story is so interesting. Her path has been interesting. And I've learned a lot through her. 'Cause she's also, I want to say she's 15 years older than me. So just like kind of hearing what she's been through, seeing it, talking to my parents and my aunt and like seeing like the vibe of what she's been through. It's really interesting and it's helpful as well. 'Cause like I could go out into the industry and be like, oh, I'm all set and like be super confident. But that doesn't always get you somewhere. Like you gotta be respectful, you gotta be nice, you gotta work your way up.
And be willing to take the next step even when you are comfortable, kind of like you said, like what she did. Like maybe things were okay in LA, but then go to Atlanta and then be able to really make your mark. And you mentioned Tag as your favorite movie.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you if you have any other favorites you want to share.
Well, I might be biased, but I was a really big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was really good. Also, my cousin did mostly the makeup for it. So like all of like the creatures, like the alien creatures that you saw that were like animal-like, she did all of that.
Wow.
So I got like pictures early on of stuff like that. And I got like a few pictures of Rocket, which was really cool. Like the puppeteer Rocket. So I'm a really big fan of that. I really like Cars. It's like a good throwback. My boyfriend and I watched Night in the Museum the other day and I like forgot about it and it's so good. It's so good. I love the vibe of it. I'm very big into like action comedy. I really like Deadpool. I'm just a big Ryan Reynolds fan besides that though. Deadpool and Wolverine was really good. I don't understand why people were like, I loved it. I thought it was great. Channing Tatum was in it. Chris Evans was in it. It was great. What more can you ask for? Yeah, I'm also beyond excited for what's coming next with Spider-Man and Doomsday and all that. Like, it's on my calendar. Like, I'm ready for it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, big slate of 2026 films like Dune, Odyssey, Doomsday.
Also, I'm a big Zendaya fan.
She's in everything.
She's in everything this year. Oh my God, actually, second episode of Euphoria comes out tonight, guys.
Yeah. And then the drama with Robert Pattinson.
I haven't seen that yet, so no spoilers, but I've heard it was good. I heard that the twist was insane. not something that you would expect. But I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. It's overall a great slate of films, and overall, Hallie, this was a great episode of the Zicast. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and I'm curious if you have any motivational words or anything you'd want to plug before.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just be yourself. It really gets you a long way. Also, small acts of kindness are so important because, like, if you're just a good person, if you're a kind person, like, karma will get you, it'll follow you, and that's just all you got to do.
Always great spending time with you, Hallie. I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing these fun insights. The vibes are always good.
Vibes are great.
So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Presley.
Yeah, thank you, Presley. And as always, this is Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for listening.